I tried it out anyway. My mother taught me to recite the mantra, Buddha. I would do it lying down with eyes closed. I'd recite Bud in the breath and Do with the out breath. The mind would go peaceful after a while, but after that I would just fall asleep. On waking up, suffering would still be there as before. I would still identify with being handicapped. I would fall asleep each time I practiced meditation. It seemed like meditation was a way to go to sleep. How can one overcome suffering when one is asleep? When I used to think a lot and felt tense, I couldn't meditate. I just felt opposed and fed up. I was discouraged, and that made me even more tense. Reading a book is much easier. At least that would give me some satisfaction. But meditation didn't give me any knowledge. It just put me to sleep. One tends to get lost practicing meditation without a teacher to advise one. One will just have doubts, and there is no confidence in what one is doing. To have a teacher is very important. I wanted to have a teacher, and so I wrote a letter to Luangpor, Kamkean. I asked him to instruct me on the method of practice. I informed him that I can only practice in the lying down posture. Luangpor was kind enough to reply to my letter. He explained the way of practice to me. Luangpor told me how to develop the 4 foundations of awareness in the lying down posture. That is to say, to develop awareness by making use of movements. He said that awareness can be developed and practiced while lying down. It is a matter of focusing on the body. Playfully turning up and down the hand, feeling it. When thought arises, don't follow it. Come back to the quality of knowing at the body. Just have and keep the intention to know the body. To be diligent to build up lots of knowing. That is what meditation is. Luangpor advised me not to get involved with peaceful states when they arise. Be diligent in being aware. This is Kamkean. Practice is dependent on one's actions all the time. When there is a lot of awareness, delusion will diminish. That will happen by itself. Circumspection will arise and one will see Rupa and Nama. Luangpor emphasized to be the watcher, not to get stuck or caught up in anything. Whatever arises in the body or mind, just watch it, realize it, and see it clearly. Even when happiness arises, don't go for it. Just see that there is happiness, that's all. When suffering arises, don't identify with it. Just see that there is suffering. When boredom, resistance, or irritation arise, they are just changing conditions of the mind. Don't be caught up in anything. Be diligent in practice. Then wisdom, knowledge will keep on arising. These days, I depend on this practice in awareness. My mind dwells in it. And this awareness has changed my life for the better. Now I want to tell you how a handicapped person develops awareness. You will be able to practice accordingly. You can practice as if you were handicapped. Developing awareness of movement is easy. There is no need for any ceremonies. One shouldn't close the eyes. One shouldn't recite any words. And the most important thing is to not use thought. Everybody can do it. The principles of Buddhism are universal. Everyone can practice regardless of sex, age, nationality, or class, or even which religion one upholds. Even someone who was paralyzed can practice. The practice in awareness only will bring benefits. The way I started was by lying down and turning the hand up and down. Only my right arm. When turning the hand up, to know it with awareness. When turning the hand down, to know it. Turning the hand up, know it. Turning it down, know it with sati. Know it every time. Simply knowing the turning of the hand. Don't close the eyes. Don't recite anything. And don't use thought. But as we're practicing, thoughts will inevitably arise. It's natural that thoughts come up during meditation. But we don't follow the thoughts. We just know indifferently. In the beginning, there is not much awareness. We tend to let the mind drift with arisen thoughts, letting the mind drift away from meditation. But when awareness arises, it pulls the mind back. It establishes one again in the meditation. One pulls and is pulled. Thoughts are on one end and sati on the other. Thoughts draw in and sati pulls the mind back. Sometimes sleepiness arises. This is ordinary. If you have ever practiced meditation, you know that. Sleepiness is a good friend of us, but we don't want to give in to it. Try to prevent and solve it. Turn the hand more quickly. This rouses up awareness. All this is experience. At first there are lots of obstacles, especially when you're handicapped. So at first you need to force yourself a bit. No matter how many times you stumble, start again. We do this in order to become used to sati. When we're familiar with it, it will happen by itself. And there won't be discouragement. We can't afford that. Then we'll suffer again. There's a lot at stake. Practicing with one hand gets painful after a while. There was so much pain I couldn't sleep. I didn't know where to put my arm. Sometimes I would sleep with my arm up like this. So I tried out my left arm. This arm is very weak. I had to force it a bit to turn it. After some practice, it gradually got a bit better. My left arm got stronger.